Protagonist Kafka Abino used a chainsaw to cut intestines before him. Instantly, countless feces burst out. Kafka's job was a monster cleaner, known as Kaiju Cleaner. In this world full of kaijus, two professions exist. One is the defense force responsible for exterminating kaijus. The other is the cleaners who deal with kaiju corpses. The defense force saves the city and is highly respected. Their combat suits are made from kaiju fibers. Wearing them grants the ability to kill kaijus. Our protagonist never expected a bizarre bug to change him. A bug flew into his mouth, merging with his body. This ultimately turned him into a terrifying humanoid kaiju. The colleague next door almost died of fright seeing Kafka. Ichikawa, it's me. Kafka dreamed of joining the defense force initially, but he lacked talent and never passed the assessments. He settled for being a cleaner handling kaijus. Although dirty and tiring, cleaning made Kafka highly skilled. When team members mishandled kaiju viscera, he provided treatment. The team leader transferred Kafka to the intestinal area. The area was understaffed, so Kafka had to help. No one wanted to work there due to the foul smell. After a busy day, Kafka returned home. Preparing to sleep, he heard Mina Shiro on TV. A little girl appeared in his mind then. Kafka and Mina were childhood friends. Their hometown had been destroyed by kaijus. They promised to become defense force members and eradicate all kaijus. Mina fulfilled the promise and became a young candidate leader. Kafka, however, lacked the talent to join the defense force. His messy room and untidy kitchen reflected his buried dreams. The next day at work, a newcomer arrived at the company. Like Kafka, Rino Ichikawa dreamed of becoming a defense force member. Kafka had long given up. Hearing this, Ichikawa was puzzled. Kafka explained he tried but failed several selections. You'll understand as you get older. Ichikawa responded he'd never give up. Seeing the awkward situation, the captain arranged today's work. Ichikawa was to clean intestines, and Kafka supervised him. Though reluctant, Kafka took his work seriously. By noon, both felt extremely nauseous. Seeing Ichikawa's lunch, Kafka gave him vitamins. Eat as much as you can, or you'll struggle later. Kafka also gave him nasal plugs. Ichikawa refused, but Kafka insisted on protective measures. In the afternoon, everyone cleaned the remaining intestines. Ichikawa approached Kafka, who expected revenge. Instead, Ichikawa thanked him. Without Kafka's help, he couldn't have endured the day. Ichikawa shared good news. The defense force age limit relaxed to 33. Ichikawa didn't want a medal but saw Kafka wasn't content. Hearing this, Kafka thanked him. You're even better than I thought. A kaiju suddenly appeared behind Ichikawa. Kafka saved Ichikawa in time. Kafka told Ichikawa to leave quickly and notify the defense force. Kafka would lead the kaiju away to ensure their safety. Kafka led the kaiju on a wild chase. He decided to dash into a narrow commercial street. He burst through a glass window and jumped downstairs. Childhood memories re-emerged. He and Mina promised to join the defense force. He couldn't defeat a minor kaiju. Kafka wanted to resist, but his legs couldn't support him. He resigned himself to fate. At that moment, Ichikawa intervened and saved him. Kafka was puzzled why Ichikawa returned. Ichikawa responded, if I leave you, I'd never become a defense force officer. How could I be so useless, unfulfilled, and unable to protect a junior? Damn it. Mina and the 3rd Division arrived and led the rescue operations. Mina glanced at Kafka before hastily leaving. Lying on the hospital bed, Kafka recalled Mina dispatching the kaiju effortlessly. Between them was vast. Kafka felt he no longer had the courage to face Mina. Fortunately, Ichikawa's encouragement helped Kafka realize something. He decided to stop deceiving himself and strive to become a defense force member. A flying bug appeared in front of him. Finally found you. The bug flew into Kafka's mouth, causing a drastic transformation. Ichikawa sensed something was wrong and opened the curtains. He was so scared he almost wet himself. Kafka was terrified by his own transformation into a kaiju. Kafka needed to explain things first. Though Ichikawa calmed down, the old man outside called the defense force. Kafka discovered his strength had increased dramatically. A light touch on the wall made the hospital shake like an earthquake. The noise attracted many onlookers. To avoid panic, Kafka decided to leave quickly. With the defense force arriving, Kafka ran for it. Let's go out the window. What's wrong with this body? Ichikawa didn't know what happened to Kafka but trusted him. He suggested Kafka evacuate first. In urgency, Kafka followed him. Jumping out the window, their heights were different. The defense force issued an emergency evacuation notice and rushed to the hospital. By then, Kafka and Ichikawa reached the street. Ichikawa's heart was in turmoil over Kafka's transformation. Kafka didn't know what was happening when a strange bug popped out of his mouth. The bug quickly captured a nearby crow, stuffing it into his mouth, nauseating Ichikawa. Fortunately, after eating the crow, Kafka returned to his previous appearance. Ichikawa was speechless when Kafka suddenly needed to urinate. Kafka's body didn't seem to have that organ. Then something ridiculous happened. No way. I can't get married now. Let me die here. Though Kafka was scared, his body caused no more problems afterward. Ichikawa took Kafka to the cordon. Beyond it was an uninhabited area. Kafka sensed a kaiju approaching from underground. An explosion occurred nearby. The same type of kaiju attacked again. Ichikawa felt relieved because the defense force would split into 2 groups. But Kafka hesitated. In the rubble, a little girl cried helplessly. Her mother, pinned under a cabinet, tried protecting her. Mom has to escape too. Please, please. Kafka made a thrilling rescue. Surprised by his punch's power, he tried comforting the crying girl, but his appearance scared her more. He decided to smile to amuse her, but it frightened her more. Ichikawa arrived and learned the mother was pinned under the cabinet. Kafka easily rescued her. The mother was bruised but not seriously hurt. Suddenly, the kaiju returned. Kafka told Ichikawa to take the mother and daughter away. He stayed to kill the kaiju. I want to punch it hard. Let's move back a bit. The kaiju's body exploded, causing blood rain. Kafka seemed like a demon. The little girl overcame her fear seeing Kafka kill the kaiju with one punch. Mr. Kaiju, thank you. There's nothing to fear now. Yes, as long as we face it together. Let's go. Kafka had an unfulfilled promise. His childhood friend achieved her dream while he accomplished nothing. Despite turning into a kaiju, he wanted to join the defense force. Under this obsession, Kafka reverted to human form. The defense force arrived at the scene. They found the kaiju already dead. The little girl pleaded with Mina not to destroy the good kaiju. He saved her and her mother. Mina was shocked. She'd never heard of good kaijus. News about Kaiju No. 8 hit headlines, and a nationwide manhunt began. Kafka and Ichikawa received notification of passing the first defense force assessments. Ichikawa brought the good news to Kafka, who transformed into his kaiju form in excitement. Ichikawa kicked him, urging him to change back. News broadcasts about him were everywhere on TV. Though Kafka struggled to control his transformation, no one else saw it. Ichikawa worried about the second assessment round involving many defense force officers. He feared Kafka's identity would be exposed. Kafka insisted on participating. Giving up meant not fulfilling his promise to his childhood friend, and he wouldn't be a man if he did. 10 days later, they arrived at the examination site. Security was tight, and candidates were several times more numerous than the first round. As Kafka prepared to enter, a girl with twin ponytails called out to him. Kafka's car blocked her from parking. Kafka saw parking spaces everywhere. The blonde girl insisted on parking in Kafka's spot because her lucky number was 5. Kafka wanted to teach her a lesson, but she said, "If you won't move, let me do it myself." The blonde girl took off her jacket, revealing a black bodysuit, the combat suit of the defense force. She lifted Kafka's car single-handedly and tossed it away. Who exactly are you? Examinee number 2016. Kakoru Shinomiya. My hobby is slaying kaijus. Remember that. Old man, you smell like a kaiju? Ichikawa explained they were workers cleaning kaiju corpses. Kafka effortlessly lifted a nearby van, surprising Kakoru, who thought Kafka had a combat suit. I'm examinee number 2032. Kafka. Remember that, little girl. The girl noticed him for the first time. During the test, Kafka realized he was weak. He barely managed basic tests due to his age, ranking 219th out of 225 examinees. The genius girl Kakoru, at 16, achieved 5th place. Because of the parking incident, she showed off in front of Kafka. Despite his dissatisfaction, Kafka knew passing the test was difficult. Compared to Kafka's anxiety, Ichikawa was calm. He encouraged Kafka, saying there was still a chance. The second test usually involved kaiju corpse handling, a job Ichikawa had taken part-time. The second exam arrived. Sashiro Hashina, vice captain of the Defense Force's 3rd Division, was the examiner. He was also Kafka's childhood friend's vice captain. To their surprise, the second test was not debris handling but a hellishly difficult kaiju subjugation. Ichikawa unleashed 8% of his combat strength. Haruchi Izumo had 18%, Aoi Kaguraji had 15%, and Iharu Furuhashi had 14%. Unleashing combat strength reflects the suit's capability usage. Trained individuals reach around 20%, freshmen exceeding 10% do well. Kakoru's 46% unleashed strength astonished everyone, squad leader level talent making history. With 8%, Ichikawa felt low, but the main examiner praised it as good. No one ever had 0% unleashed strength until now. 0%? What's with that guy? How could it be 0%? Strange. I thought it was a measurement error. Kakoru believed Kafka's strength wasn't 0 after seeing his parking lot display. The final exam began with 36 minor beasts, Yoju, and 1 main beast, Hanju. Participants used kaiju-specific weapons, each followed by a drone. A life-threatening situation triggers a shield and fails the assessment. The battlefield is risky. Safety isn't guaranteed. Candidates charged forward confidently. Kakoru, with the highest score, stood out. Yoju number 12 eliminated. Yoju number 03 eliminated. Kafka was stunned. He couldn't use the suit's power or lift his weapon. The examiner announced Captain Mina's participation, urging everyone to excel. After some thought, Kafka asked Ichikawa why each person was equipped with a drone. If the evaluation counted beasts subdued through sensors, observing candidates' actions and abilities mattered. Throwing away his weapon, Kafka prepared to assist more capable attackers. attackers. Soon, they saw Haruchi Izumo leading a squad against a nearby Yoju. Kafka recognized this kaiju type from previous cleanups. Eat this, stun grenade. Its eyes degenerated, but hearing remained sharp. Disrupting its hearing made it vulnerable. Kafka informed Haruchi Izumo of its abdominal weakness. Nice support, Kokoro fan. I'm not her fan. Kafka and Ichikawa sought another squad to aid. Suddenly, a Yoju lunged at Kafka, flinging him against a wall and fracturing several bones. Monitoring detected Kafka's life signs abnormality, readying the shield as the Yoju closed in. Before it attacked, Kokoro's sudden strike felled the Yoju. There will be no victims where I am, Kokoro assured post-rescue. I'll handle the kaijus, you just recover. Kafka's lower leg broken. He couldn't continue, but refused to give up. It's disgraceful, but I bet everything on my life so far. Kafka's legs broken by a Yoju attack. The examiner suggested he quit. Kafka's determination convinced him to stay. Ichikawa let Kafka ride his back, using knowledge to support teammates, though embarrassed. But what they didn't know was that their teammates didn't need their support. All kaijus in the hall were slain by Kokoro, the nation's hope. As she prepared to mock Kafka, a figure shot her chest. The shot didn't reach her heart due to her combat suit. Can it still move? This thing can talk? What's with the skin? It noticed Kokoro's combat armor. It's a kaiju with intelligence. What's going on? Subject 2016's life signs are abnormal. The command center reported. All Yoju revived. Their strength now level 6.7. Mina activated shields, and with the vice captain, launched an attack. Kokoro heard the evacuation notice, but stayed to prevent casualties. Using the kaiju's muscles, she stopped her bleeding wound. With a casual strike, Kokoro was left powerless. She recalled childhood, striving for her father's praise, but often failing. Her fixation on success led to inevitable failures. For the country's future and her deceased mother, she must stay peak performing. Filled with her father's teachings, she resolved to never give up. Her broken arm robbed her ability to fight effectively. Just then, the kaiju's head sprouted crimson horns and a tail beast bomb. I'm sorry, I still can't be perfect. In her final moment, Kafka blocked the bomb and reassured Kokoro. Thanks to you, everyone evacuated safely. Leave the rest to me. Kafka arrived upon hearing Kokoro faced the revived Hanju kaiju. Transformed, Kafka stunned Kokoro, who kept his secret. Kafka swatted the tail beast bomb hundreds of meters away. I'll explain later. I'm finishing this now. Rest easy. The command center detected a high energy reaction, reaching level 9.8. Hashina panicked. A level 9.8 kaiju could destroy a city. With the drone damaged, only Kokoro knew Kafka's transformation. No time. Smashing it with one punch, Kafka declared. With one punch, the kaiju turned to ashes, stunning Kokoro briefly. Kafka rushed to deal with a Yoju behind Kokoro. Ichikawa teased Kafka about potential exposure. Kokoro relaxed, watching Kafka and Ichikawa argue playfully. Overwhelmed, Kokoro fainted. Defense Force personnel arrived perplexed. However, this scene reminded Hashina of the incident 3 months ago. Kaiju number 8 appeared. Kafka and Ichikawa had brought Kokoro back. Hashina sought her out immediately after learning about their safe return. Thanks for dealing with the Hanju. All examinees are safe. Hearing this, Kokoro hesitated. Hashina asked if it was her. Remembering Kafka's concern, she claimed she killed the Hanju decisively. Meanwhile, Kaiju number 9 listened to today's news in a restroom. He heard of injuries at the exam site, but no fatalities. Dumbfounded, he marveled at the captain of the 3rd Division's competence. A call summoned him back to work. He transformed and left. Disguised as a kaiju cleaner, he coincidentally worked with Kafka, his colleague. Kafka was hospitalized again, suffering fractures but recovering in days. Mina visited his hospital room, not for reminiscing, but to thank them. Kafka waited for the right time, determined to keep their childhood promise. Just you wait. Ironically, Kokoro, who hated kaijus, was saved by one. As the exam topped, she felt humiliated by the captain's praise. It wasn't her who defeated the kaiju, but Kafka, her inferior. Such an outstanding person not qualifying was humiliating for Kokoro. The honor should have been Kafka's, a humiliation in his absence. I wanted to ask why you turned into a kaiju. Kafka apologized for arriving in the middle of the situation. Kafka wasn't disqualified. Hashina argued to recruit him. Despite his low score, Kafka's tactical contribution impressed Hashina and Mina. Furthermore, Kafka's comedy relief was outstanding, so Hashina planned to give him a chance. As a cadet, Kafka missed the team induction ceremony due to restrictions. Admitted exceptionally, Kafka faces expulsion if he performs poorly within 3 months. Still, his fellow members hoped he would pass the exam. Captain Mina began the welcome speech as all recruits gathered. Kaiju appearances and revivals indicate future missions with life-threatening risks. Stand by your side soon, Mina. Kafka blurted out unconsciously. His slip surprised everyone, questioning his behavior toward Captain Ishiro. Embarrassed, Kafka wanted to crawl into a hole. Mina scolded Kafka for speaking without permission, penalizing him with 100 push-ups. Speechless, Kafka pondered Mina's reaction, unaware it showed affection. Hashina grinned, not expecting Kafka to cause trouble so soon. He found Mina's mild punishment curious, planning to ask about Kafka. Hashina allowed Kafka to join due to detecting something odd. Life signs vanished with a level 9.8 kaiju detected, raising suspicions about Kafka. Unaware, Kafka completed 100 push-ups, Approaching Kafka, Kokoro indicated she had something important to discuss. Ichikawa understood Kokoro's intent, joining Kafka and Kokoro in a secluded cafe. Kokoro wanted to know how Kafka had transformed into a kaiju. Relieved Kafka hadn't sought Defense Force treatment, Kokoro shared her concerns. Rumored as Kaiju No. 8, Kafka might face examinations or weaponization if captured. Kokoro, please, let this be our secret. Save a poor old man. Too close, please. Kokoro remembered Kafka's rescue and kept his secret from others. If she discovered Kafka's potential to harm, she vowed personal retribution. Surprisingly, Kafka responded gently, entrusting himself to Kokoro in the future. 2.5 months passed swiftly, filled with rigorous daily training. Ichikawa notably excelled, increasing his strength from 8% to 18%. He completed shooting training in an impressive 2 minutes and 35 seconds. Furuhashi, often compared to Ichikawa, finished in 2 seconds slower. His strength also soared, reaching an impressive 20% capability. Kokoro was the standout, finishing in just 1 minute and 16 seconds. Her unleashed strength was a remarkable 55%, far surpassing her peers. Aoi and Haruchi followed with strengths of 25% each, showing promise. In contrast, Kafka's shooting took 6 minutes and 39 seconds. His strength estimation was a modest 1%, much lower than his peers. See that, Kokoro? I finally improved to 1. Hooray! Don't come over. How about it? Praise me. Why are you bragging your 1%? I'm at 55%. Ashina warned Kafka against premature celebration, emphasizing future challenges. He mandated 10 additional laps, underscoring the tough road to membership. Soon it was evening, and the men went to the bathhouse for a soak. Iharu Furuhashi compared muscles with Ichikawa, prompting Kafka to join. Kafka showed off his biceps but couldn't maintain it, belly returning quickly. Furuhashi and Ichikawa laughed. Kafka blamed it on aging past 28. Aoi Kaguraji's 8-pack abs made them all feel inadequate. On the women's side, Kokoro envied Mina's strong, impeccable figure. Kafka improved relations but learned everyone joined for Captain Mina's influence. Many were saved by Mina during kaiju attacks as children, inspired by her. Asked about joining, Kafka surprised all as Mina's childhood friend with promises. Meanwhile, Kokoro finished bathing and found the men fainting over Mina. Training continued tirelessly. Improvement alongside comrades was a joy. Kafka studied late into the night while others slept, dedicated and diligent. Hashina questioned Kafka's motivation. Kafka admitted it was for Captain Mina. Hashina knew from eavesdropping, suspicious of Kafka's ambitions as vice captain. Kafka explained his promise with Mina to fight side by side. Hashina reluctantly agreed but limited Kafka's study time to 2 hours. Hashina warned Kafka not to vie for vice captain, hinting at his past. He emphasized keeping relationships minimal due to job hazards. Kaijus, this isn't a drill. It just came up right after talking about it. Let's go. First mission. Just then, a Hanju suddenly appeared in the city center. A large number of Yojus also appeared with the Hanju. Based on the Hanju's trajectory, Mina set her sniping position. Mina chose Area Echo to take down the Hanju. The rookies in their first battle were led by squad leaders. The rookies were mainly responsible for clearing the Yojus on the ground. The operation was ready to launch, and everyone jumped down except Kafka. He slowly climbed down the high building instead of jumping. Meanwhile, the Self-Defense Force military began attacking the Hanju. Conventional weapons couldn't harm the Hanju, but it would buy Mina time. Kafka successfully arrived at the battlefield, feeling different this time. He could sense the combat suit responding to him distinctly. Unleash full combat power, and just like that, he was knocked away. Don't go in front, you're just a 1%er. Why must we babysit the rookies? Stand aside and watch. Enemy's weak point is unclear. Be cautious until receiving frontline information. Kokoro obliterated the enemy with sheer power, shocking the veterans. The senior recognized this firepower belonged to Kokoro Shinomiya. Kokoro, well done. What did you expect? Who do you think I am? Life signs abnormal, heart rate increasing. We don't need to report trivial matters. Apart from Kokoro, the newcomers were not to be outdone. With help, Furuhashi successfully killed a Yoju. About to boast, Furuhashi realized Ichikawa had killed one solo. Ichikawa changed bullet properties to freezing, immobilizing the enemy. Once mastered, killing Yojus became easier. Ichikawa felt his performance wasn't enough, wanting to become stronger. He wanted Kafka to not need transforming. Haruchi and Kaguraji's teamwork was also in sync. They killed several Yojus in minutes. Such performances made veterans lose confidence. What's with the new recruits? Each one is ridiculously strong. Nakanashima, the squad leader, was more concerned about their looks. Imagine having those two under my command, she thought, drooling. Besides these students, the average strength was higher than previous years. The observation department confirmed Yojus around Area Juliet were eliminated. Seeing this news made Kafka anxious. Everyone is fighting hard. How can I lag behind? Kafka thought about what he could do. He remembered a veteran's advice. To kill a Yoju, find its weak spot. Kafka turned to a Yoju corpse, deciding to use his specialty. Kafka found the Kaiju's core at its head and torso junction. He discovered something very important. The Yojus had reproductive organs. This meant these organs must be destroyed to eliminate Yojus completely. Upon hearing this news, Hoshino instructed the observation observation department to inform everyone. He praised Kafka. You used your previous job experience. Well done. Kafka was instantly filled with motivation. He decided to destroy all regenerative organs. He would do everything possible to reach Mina's side. As Kafka was running, a loud explosion came from nearby. It was the Hanju's battlefield where the battle had started. Mina stood atop a high building with an electromagnetic cannon, her scope aimed at the distant Hanju. First round loaded, ballistic calculation begins. Mina's face was calm, like a machine without emotion. Seeing her childhood friend, the promise they made flashed in her mind. Kafka, this is who I am now. Even a captain has moments of pride. She unleashed her combat suit's power, delivering a full-force strike with 96% combat power. The laser cannon pierced the Hanju. The power of the shot shocked everyone. This is the strength you hope to fight alongside. The second round was ready to load. 2 shots killed the Hanju. When the Hanju fell, the observation department detected severe damage to the Hanju. Mina loaded the third round, then the fourth, unleashing 2 consecutive shots at the fallen Hanju. If you want to fight alongside her, you need equal power. Hashina came to Kafka. Can you do that kind of thing? My combat power with shooting weapons is too low. I can't compare to Mina with large kaijus. If the opponent is a medium or small kaiju, I'm better. In a flash, Hashina sliced away a yoju that was behind him. It's so fast I can't see it. Hoshino comes from a long line of kaiju neutralizers since the Muromachi era, specializing in close combat. Captain and vice captain level members are the strongest. They have specialized equipment suited to their abilities. Hearing the Hanju was dealt with, Hoshino said, remember, continually improving yourself allows you to fight alongside Mina. The real battle was yet to come. Even after the Hanju was dealt with, countless yojus swarmed out. The task was to eliminate all yojus and prevent strays. Hearing this, the newcomers broke out in cold sweat. The previous battle drained their strength. Their combat strength significantly decreased. This first mission was challenging. However, surviving this ordeal would no doubt increase their strength. Most team members' strength was between 20% to 30%. They remain at this level throughout their lives. Only a few surpassed this threshold. Only Kokoro could do it currently, but Hoshino saw potential in another person. Ichikawa was continually getting stronger. Iharu noticed Ichikawa's progress. He had undergone 5 years of training. He was now far behind Ichikawa. This speaks volumes about Ichikawa's talent. The commander directed them to another area. On their way, they discovered a cleaner squatting next to a kaiju corpse. Why is a cleaner here? It's not time for dissection work yet. This guy too. The reproductive organ is destroyed. Why were we seen through? Someone who understands kaijus well. Ichikawa didn't expect the cleaner's invisible attack. The attack severely wounded his companion. The cleaner's body grotesquely expanded. He transformed into a humanoid kaiju. They realized it was Kaiju number 9. Knowing they were outmatched, Ichikawa thought about calling for backup. All he heard through his earpiece was static. Number 9 had isolated the area, originally used to hide among humans, now employed to hunt. Planning to take the 2 as experimental samples, he launched another attack. Ichikawa cleverly avoided the critical points. Kokoro said to watch number 9's fingertips. The attacks were too fast to see. Paying attention to his fingers was the key. Ichikawa managed to dodge perfectly. Taking advantage of number 9's surprise, Ichikawa fired a freeze bullet. He urged Iharu to escape and seek reinforcements. The prideful Iharu was reluctant to comply. Ichikawa saved him again. Iharu understood. Staying would only hold Ichikawa back. Iharu decided to leave. Facing number 9, Ichikawa knew he was no match. He joined the defense force to stand up for comrades. Ichikawa began his fight. Knowing he might die, he resolved to buy time for Iharu. Meanwhile, Iharu grew increasingly angry. Why could Ichikawa fight while he fled? Recalling what Hoshino said about combat strength, Iharu was stuck at 20%. Since Mina saved him, he wanted to be her teammate. Number 9 wasn't flustered by Ichikawa's attack. He teleported in front of Ichikawa. Do you have a counter to this move? Countless attacks fired at Ichikawa, but at that critical moment, Iharu returned to save him. Why did you come back? Iharu realized he wasn't upset with Ichikawa. He was upset with himself for making no progress. Ichikawa, it's not you who should protect me. It's me who should protect you. Even if you run, without my permission, nothing can leave. They decided to go all out. Defeating the kaiju was their chance to survive. Iharu, severely injured, could only cover for Ichikawa. He created an opportunity for Ichikawa to deliver a critical strike. Go for it, Reno. A conductor round? It's not just you experimenting with bullets. This will hinder my movement, so let's settle this. Watch carefully. Having been hit many times, I know the timing. Iharu managed to dodge the finger cannon blast as well. This one too. Reno. Combat power. Maximum release. God, grant me Captain Ashiro's mighty power. Ichikawa unloaded his salvo at number 9. However, when the smoke cleared, Ichikawa witnessed a scene of despair. His all-out attack was blocked by Yoju's corpses summoned by number 9. It then emerged and scathed from the Yoju's corpses. Ichikawa was out of options, at the mercy of number 9's finger cannons. Elsewhere, Hoshino received information from the command center. They couldn't contact Ichikawa and Iharu. Even their life signs were undetectable. Kafka panicked upon hearing this news. He and Kokoro had noticed signs of revival on the Yojus. They both thought Kaiju number 9 appeared, specifically in the area where Ichikawa Ichikawa and Iharu were. Meanwhile, Ichikawa was barely hanging on. Number 9 didn't expect Ichikawa to move despite the injuries. Number 9 avoided vital areas to capture a living sample, but aiming to destroy non-vital functions proved difficult. Number 9 continued his assault on Ichikawa to stop his movement, but Iharu launched a counterattack. Number 9 blocked Iharu's attacks one by one. It had seen through Iharu's attack methods. With a flick of his finger, Number 9 knocked away Iharu's weapon. He broke Iharu's legs. Number 9 then approached Ichikawa. Iharu watched as Number 9 tortured his comrade. Witnessing this filled Iharu with despair. My comrade is getting hurt. I am powerless to stop it. I don't want to admit it. Reno is incredible. That kid will become a captain. How could I let him die? Iharu pulled the trigger, but the weapon was completely broken. Nothing could be more devastating. Number 9 dealt with Ichikawa. He no longer needed Iharu. Although unwilling, Iharu laid down his weapon, praying to anyone to save Ichikawa. You can die now. The one dying is you, bastard. Son of a bitch. I can see my body. My head is blown off. Sorry. I'm late. I am so weak. I didn't want things to end like this. I still made him transform again. Kafka didn't expect his punch to not kill the opponent. He moved Ichikawa to a safe place and urged Ichikawa to stop the bleeding. Kafka silently walked towards the enemy. Number 9's wounds fully healed. He was puzzled. Why did Kafka insist on hindering him? But he would love a strong corpse to use as a pawn. A small hole appeared in Kafka's chest. In his kaiju state, Kafka couldn't defend against this strike. Number 9 knew this strike couldn't threaten Kafka's life. He decided to use full strength. A multitude of cell cannons appeared behind Number 9, and Iharu realized the opponent hadn't used full strength. Kafka wasn't panicked. He was angry the opponent opened holes in Ichikawa and Iharu. Number 9 made the first move. Kafka didn't plan to dodge. He opened his toothy jaws. He screamed to form a sound barrier. This was strong enough to defend against finger cannons. Then in a flash, Kafka had appeared in front of Number 9. The kaiju had met a rush of fists striking his body, too fast to block. How strange. Commanded by Number 9, the wall of bodies obstructed Kafka's vision. Number 9 took the chance to act. I'll reconstruct. But Kafka ripped away at the wall and kept pursuing Number 9. What's going on? What is this guy? Seeing this, Number 9 decided to use his body for defense. After withstanding strikes, his body shattered. Healing slowed significantly. Number 9 decided to retreat. It was too late. Kafka's punch was coming again. Your core is in your torso. I'm going to punch through it. This is bad. With one strike, Number 9's core was exposed. Kafka was about to secure victory, but defense force members arrived upon hearing noise, which distracted Kafka. Due to Number 9's severe injuries, the barrier blocking surrounding space collapsed. Defense force members entered. During this moment of distraction, Number 9 regenerated. He declared he understood Kafka's traits. Next time, he would kill Kafka. Kafka wanted to pursue, but Number 9 targeted a defense force member, and Kafka blocked the attack with his body. Number 9 disappeared into the night sky. As Kafka also retreated, he was caught by Hoshino. He thought Kafka had injured Ichikawa and others. Protective as he was, Hoshino vowed to bring Kafka down. Hoshino didn't know it was truly Kafka. A fight was about to break out. Hoshino flash-stepped towards Kafka. He sliced at his neck, but Kafka moved just in time. He avoided damage. A series of slashes followed. Kafka barely dodged. Leading out of the alley, they were at a standstill. Kafka heard Hoshino's close combat skills surpassed Mina's. Now experiencing firsthand, he realized Hoshino's strength. It contended with a numbered kaiju. Kafka had seen Hoshino's playful side, never seen him serious. Hoshino commended Kafka's tough skin. He managed 2 or 3 slices, but there was no damage. It seems I have to get serious. Hoshino struck a pose with killing intent. This is Vice Captain Hoshino about to kill a kaiju. Request to release limiter control. Roger. Hoshino's unleashed strength reached 92%. I'll neutralize kaiju number 8. Kafka never expected Hoshino would try to kill him. Kafka didn't want to strike Hoshino. His punch was too powerful. One hit might reduce Hoshino to remnants, but Hoshino would not hold back. Kafka's torso was sliced. The blade went through. Kafka could only realize he is not an opponent defeated by holding back. Kafka had no choice but to run. The opponent caught up instantly. Kafka couldn't heal in time. As slashes appeared on his body, Kokoro's strength had impressed Kafka. Compared to Hoshino, it was heaven and earth. Hoshino's strength surpassed human capabilities. Kafka almost got his core struck. He created distance, hardened his body, and healed injuries, but then realized regenerating consumed a large amount of stamina. Kafka felt uneasy. Few more hits, he would be drained. While contemplating, Hoshino's attack came again. Kafka could block a few strikes. Hoshino's attack speed and strength were overwhelming. Hoshino grew shocked as fight continued. He speculated Kafka's strength might be Fortitude 8.0, classified as a daikaiju. Kafka's actions were odd to him. His goal had always been one thing, to take Kafka's head. His normally black twin blades instantly turned a brilliant red. A double combo attack of the invisible blade. It was a decoy. Mist slasher. Hoshino was shocked to find the blade caught in Kafka's mouth. Kafka anticipated Hoshino would strike his core's location. Seeing Kafka's attack coming, Hoshino shouted in dismay. Kaiju number 8 knocked the twin blades out. Hoshino steadied himself and looked again. Kafka had already disappeared without a trace. He got away. Report. report, Kaiju number 8 escaped. Elsewhere, Kokoro worried about Kafka's safety. Kafka appeared in front of her. Due to relentless defense, Kafka's body was utterly exhausted. Kokoro stepped forward to support Kafka. Kafka's first words were an apology. "I let him get away. The guy that hurt you." Kokoro blushed. Kafka intended to check on Ichikawa and Iharu as well. Kokoro stopped him. She assured him they would be fine. Defense Force's medical technology utilizes Kaiju's regenerative abilities. Instead of worrying about them, concern yourself. You interacted with Vice Captain Hoshino. Hoshino sat on the ground, dejected. He couldn't understand why the Kaiju spared him. This was a profound humiliation. Mina fully captured this less than graceful side of him. Mina took out her phone to commemorate the moment. Mina inquired about Kaiju number 8's strength. The opponent had reached the level of Daikaiju. Mina was shocked. Such Kaiju level hadn't been seen for 5 years. Fortunately, number 8 hadn't harmed anyone, suggesting he wasn't a killer. After review, Hoshino understood the strange feeling's source. During the recent fight, Kaiju number 8 seemed more like a human. An urgent message came from subordinates. Kaiju attacking Iharu and Ichikawa appeared in human form. This reinforced Hoshino's suspicions. Meanwhile, injured number 9 walked in the road. A passing driver scolded him. Number 9 initially intended to kill the driver. He decided on a different approach. At least say something. It was time for a new face. TV stations reported on his existence. He was listed as Kaiju number 9. He wasn't bothered by this. He concerned himself with dealing with Kaiju number 8. In a hospital, Ichikawa woke from a coma. He found Kafka by his side. "Thank you for saving me and Iharu." Kafka and Kokoro were stunned. "Why are you thanking the old man?" Ichikawa was unaware Iharu was right next to them. "So Iharu is here too?" "Kaiju number 8 saved us. He noticed the reproductive organ." Kokoro quickly responded. This kept naive Iharu from suspecting Kafka. Mentioning number 8 made Iharu praise him. Even though he's a Kaiju, he punched number 9's head off. Kafka felt a bit embarrassed. Iharu was puzzled. "Why are you blushing?" "Old man, he's not embarrassed. He always has this stupid face." "That's true. Luckily, we're dealing with Iharu." After discharge, Hoshino organized a celebration. The restaurant provided as 6th-grade Wagyu beef. Kafka, Ichikawa, and Iharu were all shocked, unaware that as 6th-grade Wagyu beef existed. Kokoro explained their reactions. He's the heir to a major anti-kaiju manufacturer, Izumo Tech, the largest company in the country. The company that makes combat suits. Financially, even the Shinomiya family can't compare. The celebration started. Everyone enjoyed their meal and drinks. Unexpectedly to Ichikawa, an argument broke out between members. Hoshino explained this was part of the celebration. Members discussed mission issues and advice. Ichikawa understood everyone wanted to improve. Hoshino announced. Kafka identified the Kaiju's weaknesses, reducing damage. Kafka is promoted to general officer. The room erupted in cheers. Everyone had seen Kafka's efforts. The next morning, Kafka discovered Mina issued the official order. Kafka had many things to say. Given their changed statuses, he swallowed his words. Mina told Kafka, "Don't get happy yet. Fighting alongside me requires much progress." Kafka was happy Mina remembered their childhood promise. "Just wait." Calling a superior officer by name, "You're penalized to 50 push-ups." Slipped up again. Kaiju number 8 and number 9 business requires a report to headquarters. Hoshino will handle subsequent procedures. Ask him for details. Understood. Hoshino personally recommended you. Don't let him down. Roger. As an official member, Kafka continued studying every evening. Tonight, Kafka noticed the training room lights on. He thought someone forgot to turn them off. Hoshino was practicing with his sword inside. Hoshino was fighting an imagined enemy. Kafka realized Hoshino's movements felt familiar. Hoshino was recreating their battle. Kafka collapsed, alerting Hoshino to his presence. Kafka asked Hoshino what he was doing. Hoshino explained he was strategizing for number 8. "Next time, I can cut into bits." Hoshino claimed going all out initially could shatter number 8's core. Kafka was nearly scared witless. Hoshino deserves to be vice captain. Studying late for everyone's protection. Ordinary members are no match for emerging humanoid kaijus. Kafka admired Hoshino's noble silhouette. Kafka said he'd become a major force in defense. Hoshino teased, saying Kafka's 1% combat effectiveness becoming significant means pigs fly. "I'll keep my expectations at 1%. High above the city, danger approached. Begin descent." Kafka never imagined the safest place would suffer a major attack. Countless meteors thundered down, turning the base into a sea of fire. The explosion woke all team members. The command center reported that the meteors were kaijus. Each kaiju was Fortitude 6.0, Hanju-class kaiju. Hashina put on his battle suit. Captain Mina wasn't present, so Hashina was in command. Defense Force members urgently deployed, luring kaijus to the training ground as the main objective. There were no disaster reports outside the base. This meant that the kaijus were targeting the base. Kafka noticed something amiss. 10 wyvern-type kaijus appear yearly, all acting alone. This time they acted as a group, indicating a powerful commander. But before Kafka finished warning, Hashina encountered the leader. "Are you the strongest here? This guy speaks human language. The captain isn't here. So, it's decided. You're mine." The reconnaissance department reported the humanoid kaiju was Fortitude 8.3 Daikaiju class. Hashina ordered to prevent the wyverns from causing civilian casualties. The newly emerging charged Kaiju number 10 fired an air shot. Hashina dodged quickly. Number 10 teleported behind Hashina, swinging a devastating punch. The glass shattered within a 2-meter radius. Hashina managed to dodge the attack and saved his teammate. Number 10 was excited. The previous attacks were tests. Hashina was a worthy opponent. Number 10 issued a command. Wyverns responded. Hashina worried, as most team members were new recruits. Number 10 attacked again. Hashina focused on dealing with number 10. Hashina dodged another attack, noting number 10's strength, comparable to a meteor, that a hit meant death. Both sides continued attacking. Hashina realized number 10's exterior was harder than number 8's. Attacks couldn't breach the defense. The rookie's attacks couldn't penetrate Wyvern's defenses either. Kafka learned from books about Wyvern's weakness. Their frontal skin is hard, but to reduce weight, their backs have minimal protection. The core is likely there. Hearing Kafka's analysis, the team split into 2 groups. One group distracted kaijus, the other attacked weak spots. As they were attacking, Maruchi's strike was interrupted by a wyvern. Panic ensued among the team, not anticipating wyverns cooperating with each other. All units reported combat plans failed. Impossible to outflank kaijus due to coordination. Kokoro had a solution. A light charged towards the kaiju with Kokoro's attack. Wyvern's defense shattered instantly. Kokoro's power solved the problem. A specialized weapon made her powerful. Mina gave her the weapon to become Division 3's third main force. The weapon had 3 abilities. Pull trigger, sending shockwave backwards to accelerate. Axe Technique 1, Falling Thunder. Emit shockwave forward during collision. Axe Technique 2, Water Skimmer. So strong, but Kokoro was helpless against a wyvern in the sky. The wyvern's body froze. Defense Force's unique freezing bullet was shot. Ichikawa appeared, ensuring the kaiju wouldn't take off again. He's doing well fighting such a high-level kaiju. Technique 3, Half Moon. Shinomiya decided to team up with Ichikawa, becoming an unstoppable battlefield duo. They became an integral part of the plan. The two distracted the wyverns, while others shot their exposed backs. With their support, dealing with wyverns wasn't a problem. The key issue lay with kaiju number 10. Hashina was engaged in a fierce battle. Number 10's strength was for enjoyment, not killing. This was unusual for a kaiju. Hashina planned to take number 10 through gate 3, but number 10 broke the reinforced steel gates casually. Fighting me to this extent is rare. I'll consume you for sustenance. Hashina planned the battle in advance. He discovered number 10's skin had gaps. He lured number 10 to the training ground, avoiding harm to teammates. Outside the training grounds, a teammate was about to be blown away. Kafka used partial transformation on his legs to save her. The wyvern charged again, but Kokoro interrupted with a big strike. Ichikawa assured Kafka to trust the squad. Reinforcements arrived. Off-duty officers were deployed, changing the tide of battle. In the training grounds, the great battle erupted. The outcome was one-sided. Hashina's attacks always injured number 10. Hashina could strike at the gaps in number 10's skin. As long as I know where to aim, I can handle it. Number 10's thought was optimistic, but reality was harsh. In actuality, Hashina could easily cut number 10's exterior at full power. Hashina-style sword slay technique 2, Cross Slasher. Technique 4, Wild Slasher. Hashina sliced number 10 into pieces, chopping off his arms and neck. But after the severe blow, number 10's body regenerated. Number 10 became more excited, enjoying the equal opponent. They traded attacks again. Hashina swiftly moved around number 10 while slashing. Number 10 swung his fists wildly, missing Hashina. This was what number 10 pursued all his life, but they weren't evenly matched. Hashina's blade fell, chopping off number 10's right hand into 8 segments, exposing the core. Your core is quite small. Technique 6, Eightfold Slasher. Before celebrating, Hashina warned that number 10 wasn't dead. Kafka, without transforming, felt the terrifying aura. Hashina saw number 10's chopped body swell, emitting high-temperature vapor. Hashina retreated. The reconnaissance department measured number 10, Fortitude 9.0. Hashina lacked the power to kill number 10. His attacks broke number 10's shell but couldn't damage the core. Hashina's attacks couldn't cut deep enough. The only chance was tiring him out and piercing the core. The system delivered bad news. Maximum release reached over 10 minutes. Hashina had 1 minute left to fight. A wyvern charged at Hashina and self-destructed. Hashina used the explosion's smoke and buildings as cover. Leaping at number 10's blind side, he launched technique 6, but a mass of eyes appeared on number 10's back. Hashina was slapped away, sent flying hundreds of meters. The battle suit reached its limit and deactivated. Severe injuries plunged Hashina into memories. His father said if born in ancient times, Hashina was a genius. But now, facing super-large kaijus, guns were mainstream. Hashina could never unleash much power with a gun. This is why his father was not optimistic about him. He hoped Hashina would quit the defense force soon. Relying solely on swords would eventually lead to death. However, Mina had a high opinion of Hashina. In contrast, she had no talent with swords. Dealing with small and medium-sized kaijus required Hashina. Thus, Mina invited Hashina to join her team. Here he fulfilled his value as he wished, not to disappoint Mina's expectations, even burning out his last bit of life. He was determined to fulfill his duty as vice captain. Hashina, at his limit, kept chipping away at number 10. Technique 2, Cross Slasher. Technique Technique 3, Return Slasher. Technique 4, Wild Slasher. In the end, he was struck by a devastating attack. He was caught by number 10. Kafka witnessed the scene fully. Upon sensing number 10's energy reaction, he rushed over. Kafka could no longer hold back. All he wanted was to transform and save the vice captain. However, he suddenly heard a familiar voice. Everyone, thank you for your efforts. This voice, Kaiju, looks like I won. The voice was Captain Mina. The energy cannon hit number 10 accurately. Mina did not anticipate the opponent's rapid regeneration speed. The detection department informed her about number 10's core location. Mina aimed immediately, but number 10 quickly assumed a defensive posture. To assist Mina, he had to make number 10 lose balance. Hashina took on the task. Severely injured, making the opponent lose balance was still easy. He could only unleash up to 63% of his combat power. Hashina's attacks could only break the opponent's shell. At that moment, Kokoro arrived. Her giant axe hit the opponent's ankle. She never expected that she wouldn't be able to break through the defense. Hashina told her not to stop. He rushed forward, breaking the shell around the ankle. Kokoro delivered a full-powered strike there. Their combined strike worked. Number 10 finally collapsed. Kokoro's battle suit reached its limit with that strike. Number 10's collapse gave Mina her chance. With a loud bang, number 10's core was exposed. Mina had one energy cannon shot left. This was her only chance. The squads helped Mina clear remaining lesser kaijus. Hashina charged forward again to harass. Don't stop thinking. Just 5 more seconds. My body. Slice through. Carve a path of blood. Complete this task. Thank you, Hashina. I'm fortunate to have you as my vice captain. Full power release. 96%. Mina aimed at number 10's core. She was ready to fire the last energy cannon. This time, I'll pierce through the enemy. Kaiju number 10's energy levels finally disappeared. Everyone celebrated the victory, resting and recovering. Kafka was in tears, impressed by everyone. He wished to be a part of it someday. Suddenly, the battlefield underwent another mutation. A huge energy sphere appeared above. Yoju-class wyvern kaijus flew into it. This scene shocked everyone. The reconnaissance department reported devastating news. The energy sphere touching the ground would trigger a nuclear explosion. A supergiant Yoju bomb. Stop! Don't fire! Everyone, retreat! It's too late now. Human. The severed head of number 10 called out. This time, let's call it a draw. Everyone was unsure of what to do. Kafka unhesitatingly rushed towards the energy sphere. Hashina wanted to stop him but saw Kafka's unfamiliar speed. The moment Kafka transformed, it confirmed Hashina's suspicions. He always felt something was off about Kafka but never considered this possibility. Unknowingly attracted by his efforts, he overlooked this obvious possibility. Kafka also experienced mixed feelings at this moment. All he wanted to do was apologize. He failed to meet Hashina's expectations and let down Kokoro. He also broke his promise with Ichikawa. This exposure was a responsibility he had to bear. It shattered his dream of fighting alongside Mina. But how could he stand by and do nothing? All team members were fighting desperately. How could he stand by to protect himself? Nothing is more important than everyone's lives. After all, he is part of the defense force. This time, it's my turn to step forward. With Kafka's punch, the energy sphere flew 10,000 meters. It then exploded in the sky. Mina immediately instructed her team to lie down. She activated the full shield of their battle suits. The explosion's aftermath reached the ground. Unexpectedly, Kafka did not run away. He set up a defense, protecting 2 injured teammates. The aftermath subsided. By then, Kafka was utterly exhausted. He had successfully saved everyone. His secret as Kaiju number 8 was exposed. Hibino Kafka. Kaiju number 8, you are under arrest. Kafka transformed into number 8 to save the city. Instead of earning the title of a hero, he was imprisoned. The higher-ups immediately convened an emergency meeting. The deputy director proposed number 8's immediate execution. He wanted it turned into a weapon. The director general, Shinomiya Isao, decided to observe for a while. He had the 3rd Division transfer number 8 to his custody. Kafka did not resist to prove he wouldn't harm humans. He was still a bit afraid. Kokoro once said powerful kaijus assigned a number could become weapons. As Kafka pondered, Mina led her team in. She did not say a word. She took Kafka away directly. All 3rd Division members were outside. Kafka dared not look anyone in the face, especially Ichikawa. Ichikawa always considered him. He exposed his identity against advice. Kafka felt Ichikawa would not forgive him. Unexpectedly, Ichikawa rushed out as he stepped into the transport vehicle. Ichikawa loudly told Kafka, I know you'll come back. I believe it. No surveillance system was inside the transport vehicle. Once the door closed, Mina spoke up. She thanked Kafka for saving everyone. Although shocked by Kafka's transformation, Mina trusted that this was the Kafka she knew. Mina said they were gathering favorable testimonies and videos. If proven still human, Kafka could avoid being killed. In the 3rd Division, no one considered Kafka an enemy. They would do everything to help him. Kafka wanted to confirm one thing. Can I still work towards fighting by your side? I will always be waiting for you. Kafka began to tear up. As 3rd Division members watched Kafka leave, they saluted. Their hearts were filled with gratitude and respect. The deputy director raised doubts about this. Hashina did not stop the salute. He suggested it was merely a salute to Captain Mina. A few days later, Kafka was transported to the coastal base headquarters. The place had 30 armored blast doors. Kafka's fate was unclear. During his imprisonment, 3rd Division members helped him. They believed in him. A human turning into a kaiju was not easily influenced. Mina collected favorable evidence for Kafka. She had Konomi deliver it to headquarters. Hashina handled the aftermath of the battlefield. He was saddened, realizing Kafka had been holding back. He hoped Kafka could return for a proper battle. Kokoro went to the Director General's office. Her father, Shinomiya Isao. She hoped her father would be lenient with Kafka. After all, he saved her life. Her father refused without a second thought. He handed her a document showing Kafka's chest x-ray. It revealed his heart was replaced by a kaiju core. Don't forget, your mother was killed by a kaiju. Understand this and leave. Despite this, Kokoro firmly believed Kafka was human. A few more days passed. Mina gathered the 3rd Division's rookies elite. They were assigned to other divisions. The higher-ups decided this location could no longer serve as a training facility. With intelligent daikaijus appearing frequently, the decision was made to send the elites to various units. On the other side, Kafka was imprisoned for several days, undergoing examinations. He did not resist, wanting to prove he was still human. He never expected Shinomiya Isao, the strongest in history, to come. Isao removed Kafka's restraints, knowing if Kafka was Daikaiju class, restraints wouldn't hold him. Kafka was there out of personal choice. Hearing this, Kafka thought Isao was easy to talk to. However, Isao suddenly launched an attack. The Director General fired several bullets at Kafka. Fortunately, Kafka blocked the attack by transforming his arm. Kafka wanted to speak, but Isao moved in front and injured his abdomen. This was to collect blood samples. A creature catching bullets with flesh isn't human. You're Kaiju number 8. I am not Kaiju number 8. I am Abino Kafka. Isao did not intend to stop. He signaled the command room to unlock the weapon code. Complete neural connection. Operator synchronized with Kaiju number 2. FS-1002 activated. Go and die in that form. Extermination of Kaiju number 8 begins. Kafka, to prove he was still human, did not fully transform. He did not expect Isao to obliterate his transformed arm. Isao gave no chance to breathe, attacking relentlessly. This was the strength of the strongest man in the defense force. Kafka had to continue transforming into kaiju. This was exactly what Isao wanted. If I take a direct hit, it will be very bad. After a few moves, Kafka was beaten and questioned his existence. He heard a sharp noise in his brain, usually occurring only with Daikaiju, but only Isao was in front. He realized Isao emitted Daikaiju's aura. It was Isao's kaiju weapon, Kaiju number 2. In 1972, it nearly destroyed Sapporo alone. Kaiju number 2 had incredible power and pride, never yielding until death. Isao alone could wield the battle suit gloves. Kafka understood this was the kaiju weapon Kokoro mentioned. After several fatal hits, Kafka's body was at its limit. Another hit would mean death. He tried to dodge, but found his legs severed. When did this happen? Damn it. Kafka was struck with a heavy blow. As the dust settled, it revealed Kaiju number 8. Kokoro sensed something was wrong. Kafka's power increased rapidly, shattering the command headquarters isolation layer. Trapped inside the kaiju's body, he felt his body was uncontrollable. A mutation occurred, and number 8 appeared, muttering, "Kill all kaiju." At these words, Kafka lost control completely. "Stop. You are supposed to be human." Hibino Kafka. Kafka started attacking like an animal, not caring about defending himself. To eliminate vulnerability, number 8 twisted his upper body off. Using energy jets, he delivered an unexpected blow to Isao. Facing this self-mutilating attack, Isao realized number 8 defied human common sense. Kafka wanted it to stop, but his body wasn't under control. Exploding fists thundered down, but Isao managed to increase their distance. He then used a sonic boom to enhance his attack's range. Surprisingly, the fallen number 8 had no kaiju core. The core appeared behind Isao, using his body as decoy. This stunned the onlookers. Even top-grade containment facility was damaged, capable of withstanding kaiju scale level 10.0. The deputy director remained calm, feeling some damage was inevitable. This was a battle transcending time between two named kaiju. The deputy director puzzled over Isao's actions. Why not kill number 8 in human form? It seemed Isao was testing number 8's capabilities. Hearing this, Kokoro realized her father listened to her. He wanted to give Kafka a chance to live. However, number 8's power exceeded expectations. Initially, Isao had the upper hand, but he increasingly struggled. Isao suffered a severe blow from Kafka. The worst news, number 8 transformed into a giant kaiju, stronger than Isao. Despite his might, Isao couldn't scratch number 8. Kafka pleaded for his body to stop, but it wouldn't listen. Continued attacks meant Isao would be killed. Kafka resisted desperately, only to be swallowed whole by number 8's tiny bug form. In haziness, a small hand saved him, his childhood friend. "I will always wait for you. I am not kaiju number 8. I am Kafka Abino." Kafka reverted to human form. As he collapsed, a large blade was placed at his neck. Isao intervened. The newcomer was Narumi, captain of the 1st Division. The battle area was surrounded by the enemy. Narumi hadn't received a signal, so he hadn't intervened. Isao called for medical treatment for Kafka. The defense force's higher-ups convened an emergency meeting regarding Kafka's execution. They called Mina to the meeting. Investigating, they discovered she knew Kafka long ago. They informed that Mina's words wouldn't change the the outcome. At this moment, everyone intended to turn Kafka into a weapon. Mina stated she hadn't gone easy on Kafka during assessment. He passed entirely through his own efforts. Kafka discovered Yoju's reproductive organs, making significant contributions. He repeatedly rescued teammates and revealed his identity to destroy the supergiant Yoju bomb, heroically saving the city. Although these words confirmed Kafka's kaiju identity, she continued, his combat power was 0%, and he failed the test 12 times, never cheating with kaiju power. The oldest among new team members, he never gave up. Despite failures, 0% combat power, and kaiju transformation, he never stopped saving others. Kafka was unyielding and willing to sacrifice more than anyone else. Mina believed in Kafka's heart. The others thought Mina covered for her subordinate. They doubted the vague concept of heart. Isao was moved by Mina's words. He let Mina return to her post. He announced his final decision. Kafka lay in a healing pod, thinking of his childhood. Seeing Mina heartbroken, Kafka felt unwilling. He resolved to make kaijus pay. If he became kaiju, he'd rather die human. Kafka opened his eyes, in a medical bed, finding Isao beside him. Seeing Isao alive, Kafka sighed in relief. If Isao was injured, Kafka couldn't face Kokoro. Kafka thought the higher-ups recognized his humanity. Isao pointed at his chest, disproving it. Isao conveyed the meeting's decision. Kafka would be treated as kaiju. Nearly everyone opposed sparing Kafka's life, but Isao wanted to keep Kafka as a fighting force. Higher-ups were dissatisfied with this decision. Isao believed Kafka could control kaiju power. Even if number 8 was weaponized, performance wasn't guaranteed. That kaijus appeared more frequently. Keeping this reliable force was best. Isao remembered kaiju number 6 from 10 years ago. It caused 200 team members' sacrifices, including his wife. Continued kaijus would easily destroy the country. Properly harnessing Kafka's power could be their hope. Kafka Habino, if you want to live, prove your usefulness. Mina prepared to leave, hearing Kafka wouldn't be punished. Her hanging heart settled. She broadcasted the message to team members. Everyone was happy about Kafka's return. Konomi was very worried, thinking it would cause public turmoil. Kafka had to achieve something significant. His identity revelation needed acknowledgement. A crisis quietly approached. Number 9 used the internet to understand human technology. He learned Defense Force's major bases locations. He prepared to launch a total attack. Number 9 aimed to return kaiju power.